Hello students, welcome back to biology class. In the last class we discussed about two phylums, that is phylum Coelenterata and phylum Platyhelminthes. Hope you all understood that. Now in today's class, let's discuss about phylum Aschelminthes and phylum Annelida. First let us discuss about Aschelminthes. So when we discussed about phylum Platyhelminthes, we saw that they are commonly called as flatworms, isn't it? Right. Why they are called as flatworms? Because of their dorso-ventrally flattened body. The same way, phylum Aschelminthes members, they are commonly called as roundworms. They are commonly called as roundworms. So you can tell me what must be the reason why they are called as roundworms? Because they have a circular body. They have a circular body. Now phylum Aschelminthes is also called as phylum Nematoda and the members are called as nematodes. Phylum Aschelminthes also called as phylum Nematoda. Then they are also and the members which come under this phylum, they are called as nematodes. So commonly they are called as roundworms. So the reason for that is they have a unsegmented circular body. So their body is circular and it is unsegmented. And they are bilaterally symmetrical. You know what's the meaning of bilaterally symmetrical? What does it mean? The body can be divided into two equal halves by a single plane passing through median longitudinal axis. And they have a triploblastic body wall. What does it mean? Three different layers are found. That is outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm and inner endoderm. Then they have organ system level of organization. That means the organ systems, most of the organ systems like digestive system, nervous system, circulatory system, they all will be found in this phylum. May not be well developed as in the higher phylums, but they are all found. So development of organ systems are found in this phylum. Hope it's clear. So the features that is they have an unsegmented circular body. Then they are bilaterally symmetrical. They have a triploblastic body wall. Then they have organ system level of organization. Hope it's clear. Right. Now they are pseudocoelomates. Why are they called as pseudocoelomates? Because they have a pseudocoelom. Pseudo means false. Coelom means body cavity. So they have a false body cavity. We have discussed about the pseudocoelom when we discussed about basis of classification. So I hope you all can tell me what is a pseudocoelom. A pseudocoelom is a body cavity which is not lined completely by mesoderm, but instead mesoderm are found as scattered pouches in between ectoderm and endoderm. So that is called as a pseudocoelom. And all the members of phylum Aschelminthes, they have a pseudocoelom. Okay, that is why they are called as pseudocoelomates. A unique feature found in phylum Aschelminthes. What is that? Pseudocoelomates. Hope it's clear? Right. Now, alimentary canal. Alimentary canal means what? A part of the digestive system. So, alimentary canal is complete. When we discussed about the basis of classification, we have seen that. What is a complete digestive system? A complete digestive system has two openings, one mouth that is for ingestion and anus for egestion. So alimentary canal is complete with a muscular pharynx. Pharynx is very clear and it is muscular in nature. Okay, fine. Hope it's clear. Now, sexes are separate. Another important feature of phylum Aschelminthes means sexes are separate means males and females can be easily distinguished. Both are different. They exhibit sexual dimorphism. Dimorphism means morphologically they are different. Males are different, females are different. There are certain organisms where you find both the male and the female reproductive system within the same organism. Example is earthworm. Bisexual, that is male sex organ as well as female sex organ is found in the same body. That is example of such an organism is earthworm. So such animals are called as monoecious. Mono means one, single. in a single body you find both the sex organs. Such organisms are called as monoecious. But in the case of phylum Aschelminthus, we find that the members they are dioecious, or the sexes are separate. Males and females are separate. Hope it's clear. Another interesting feature is, in the case of phylum Aschelminthus, the females will be longer than the males. What is that? Females are longer than males. Normally females will be shorter than males, isn't it? If we take human beings, most of the males are taller than females, isn't it? But in the case of Aschelminthus members, or in the case of roundworms, we find that females are longer than males. Hope it's clear. So these are some of the characteristic features of phylum Aschelminthus. If unique feature is asked, what is a unique feature that you find in phylum Aschelminthus? Pseudocoelomates. Aschelminthus members possess pseudocoelom. So that is a unique feature that you find in phylum Aschelminthus. Hope it's clear? Yes or no? Right. So once again, let's fast discuss about the characteristic features. What are the characteristics? First one, they are commonly called as roundworms. Second one, they have an unsegmented circular body. They are bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic. Then they have organ system level of organization. Then the unique feature, that is they are pseudocoelomates. Then alimentary canal is complete with a muscular pharynx. Sexes are separate. Often females are longer than the males. Okay, now let's see the examples. The examples are 3 examples that you have to remember. One is Ascaris, commonly called as roundworm. Second one is Wuchereria. What is that? Wuchereria, commonly called as filarial worm, because it causes a disease by name filariasis. Right? Then third one, Ancylostoma. The common term is hookworm. We find this hookworm inside human intestine. Okay, so these are the 3 examples that you have to remember. One is Ascaris, one is Wuchereria, and the third one Ancylostoma. I know that it's a bit difficult to remember all these scientific names, but try to remember scientific names. If not, at least try to remember the common names like roundworm, filarial worm, or hookworm. But sometimes you may get a question. Write the scientific name of hookworm, then you should be able to write it as Ancylostoma. Or scientific name of filarial worm, then you have to write Wuchereria. Spellings are very important. And the common name of roundworm, Ascaris. Hope the characteristics of phylum Aschelminthus is clear to you all. Okay, so in the next slide you can see the pictures. So the first picture is of an Ascaris. So here you can see 2 worms. One is a female and the other one is a male. So the longer one will be female and the shorter one will be male. The second diagram you can see hookworm. And the third diagram is a filarial worm. And the filarial worm causes a disease, filariasis. So the next picture you can see a part of the leg which is swollen. So this filarial worm causes that disease, filariasis. That is swollen, swelling on the body parts, especially the lower limbs. That is towards the leg region. Hope it's clear. So that is all about phylum Aschelminthus. Okay, now let's discuss about phylum Annelida. Very important phylum. Phylum Annelida, they are commonly called as segmented worms. From the term itself, it's very clear. Their body will be having segments, isn't it? Their body has segments. That is why they are called as segmented worms. So when we discussed about basis of classification, we have discussed that this body is in some organisms the body will be both externally and internally divided into segments. That process is called as metamerism, or metamerically segmented. Okay, fine. So now the members of this phylum, they may be either aquatic, means some members are found in water, some members are found on land and they live freely. They are not dependent on other organisms for their food, whereas there are some annelids which are parasitic, means which depend on other organisms for their food. Hope it's clear. So all forms are found. Some annelids are aquatic, some annelids are terrestrial, some are free living, and some are parasites. Okay, then They exhibit organ system level of organization. So organ systems will be almost well developed. Okay, they have a bilateral symmetry. They exhibit bilateral symmetry. I hope you know what is bilateral symmetry. Body can be divided to two equal halves. Triploblastic. They have three body layers or embryonic layers: outer ectoderm, middle mesoderm, and inner endoderm. And the most important feature is they are metamerically segmented, a unique feature found in phylum Annelida. Metamerically segmented means the body is divided both externally and internally into small segments. Hope it's clear. So that is why they are called as metamerically segmented, and they are coelomates. What's the meaning of coelomates? They have a true body cavity lined by mesoderm. A true body cavity lined by mesoderm, that is called as coelomates or a true coelom. Hope it's clear. So one of the unique feature of Annelida is metamerically segmented body and coelomate. That is why it is highlighted. Okay, fine. Now, then the next point is the body is divided into metamers. What I have already said, that is the segments. The segments are called as metamers, and because of this particular feature, annelids are known by the term Annelida. Annelida got its name because of this metamer or metamerically segmented body. That's the reason why they are called as Annelida. Hope it's clear? Right. Now, how do they move? The locomotion is by muscles, mainly the muscles. You must have seen an earthworm moving. Have you have you seen any external locomotory organs in an earthworm? No, right. So they move mainly with the help of muscles. There are two kinds of muscles found on the body, that is longitudinal muscles as well as circular muscles. In addition to that muscles, the annelids possess, some annelids possess setae, a locomotory organ which help in locomotion. So setae are not found in all the annelids, they are found in some annelids. Okay, so mainly the movement is by longitudinal and circular muscles. Some annelids possess setae, right? Seta is singular, setae is plural. Some annelids possess setae and they help in locomotion. Okay, and as in the beginning we have, as I have already told you, some annelids are aquatic, means they are found in water. So for swimming they require certain specialized structures, and those structures which are found in annelids which help in swimming, they are called as parapodia. What are they called as? Parapodia. So here in the picture you can see three small dots. Okay, can you see that three dots? You can see that three dots, those dots are the parapodia. So hope you got. Once again, let us recollect all the points of phylum Annelida. That is, they are commonly called as segmented worms. They are bilaterally symmetrical. They are triploblastic, exhibit organ system level of organization, and they have a metamerically segmented body. And the segments are called as metamers, and it is because of this they are called as annelids. And then locomotion is mainly by circular and longitudinal muscles. Some annelids possess setae which help in locomotion. Hope it's clear. And aquatic annelids have another structure which are called as parapodia. So you have to remember setae as well as parapodia. Setae also help in locomotion. Parapodia also help in locomotion. Hope it's clear? Right. Now let's discuss the next point. So as we have seen in the first point, second point itself, that they have organ systems. Okay. So the excretory system consists of nephridia. Nephridia are primitive kidneys. Just in higher organisms we find excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys. Just like that, nephridia, they function, they act as kidneys and they help in excretion as well as osmoregulation. You know what is osmoregulation and excretion? Excretion means what? Removal of metabolic waste. And what is osmoregulation? Removal of excess water from the body. So nephridia are the excretory organs. So what's the function of nephridia? Nephridia helps in excretion as well as osmoregulation. Now the next, that is nervous system. The nervous system consists of paired ganglia connected by lateral nerves to a double ventral nerve cord. So some few terms are there which you have to remember in nervous system. So normally in human beings, nervous system consists of brain and spinal cord and the nerves, isn't it? Nervous system consists of nerves. Now nerves are made up of neurons, that also you have studied. So in the case of annelids, we find paired ganglia. Ganglia means a group of neurons or nerves entangled together to form knot-like structures. They are called as the ganglia. So these ganglia are found in pairs. Okay, so here in the picture which is given the side of this, you can see, look at the picture which is down. There you can see near the head region two small dots, right? Those dots are nothing but the ganglia which represents the brain. A group of neurons, group of nerve fibers joined together, entangled together to form a paired ganglia. So one pair is found in the head region and that acts as the brain. Then as we go down, you can see in each So here you can see can you see here two dots? Those are the two ganglia. And as you come down, here also you can see two ganglia. Here also you can see two ganglia. So like that, here you can see the ganglia. So ganglia are paired structures. And these are again connected. How? They are connected by lateral nerves. Okay, so one ganglia is connected. The ganglia on the right side is connected to the left side by means of lateral nerves. And these are connected in turn by long nerves. That is, can you see, this is one nerve cord and this is another nerve cord. So two nerve cords, long nerve cords. So two small cords ganglia will be found. They are connected by lateral nerves, and these ganglia in turn they are connected by a double ventral nerve cord. So nerve cord will be double. Here you can see two nerve cords, right? Can you see now two black lines? Those represent the ventral nerve cord, and the two ganglia on either side, that is the left side and the right side, the two ganglia will be like this. Okay, these are the two ganglia. They are connected by means of a lateral nerve, which in turn is connected by means of a ventral nerve cord. Hope it's clear. Hope you got it. Nervous system consists of paired ganglia. Paired ganglia will be two, right? Suppose these are the two ganglia. They will be connected by means of a lateral nerve here. And two ganglia will be connected by means of a double ventral nerve cord. Hope it's clear. Right. Now, the next point, that is, some annelids are dioecious. You know what is dioecious meaning? Dioecious means sexes are separate. Whereas there are some annelids which are monoecious. So example for a dioecious annelid is Nereis. Nereis. Okay, it's found in water. It swims in water. And another annelid which is monoecious, example is, I have already told you when I discussed about phylum Ascalmindus, which is that an annelid which is monoecious, where both male and female reproductive system is found in the same body, that is earthworm. So some annelids are monoecious, example is earthworm, and some annelids are dioecious, example is Nereis. Another example for monoecious annelid is leech. Have you heard about leech? Blood sucking annelid, okay, which is found in forest. So if you move through forest, sometimes this leech gets attached to the body and it sucks the blood from the body because it likes human blood. It feeds on the blood of animals. Okay, so hope that point is clear. Right. Now, reproduction is sexual, means by the formation of gametes. Then examples are Pheretima. Have you heard the term Pheretima? Pheretima is the scientific name of earthworm. Easy to remember earthworm, but a bit difficult to remember Pheretima. Pheretima is the scientific name of earthworm, right? Second one is leech. The scientific name of blood-sucking leech is Hirudinaria. What is that? Hirudinaria. Hope you can See that, Hirudinaria, blood-sucking leech. And the third example is Nereis. Okay, so you have to remember these three examples. So in the next picture here, you can see the first one is the leech, right? First diagram is leech. Right, this one is leech, right? And this is Nereis, right? This is Nereis, this is earthworm. Okay, so here you can see in this diagram three structures. Can you see here three structures? These three structures, these are the parapodia. Here also you can see parapodia. Okay, so Nereis possesses parapodia, that is parapodia help in swimming. Hope it's clear. Yes or no? So once again, let us repeat, let us recollect fast the characteristics of phylum Annelida. Phylum Annelida, commonly called as segmented worms, right? Then next point, they exhibit organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical. They have a triploblastic body wall, and they are coelomates, which possess a true body cavity. Now the unique feature of Annelida is metamerically segmented body and coelomates. Unique feature is metamerically segmented body. What is metamerism? Both externally and internally the body is divided into segments. Okay, and each segment is called as a metamer. Okay, then locomotion. Locomotion is by circular and longitudinal muscles. Some annelids possess setae, which help in locomotion. Aquatic annelids possess parapodia, which helps in swimming. Then we have seen about nephridia. What is the function of nephridia? Nephridia help in excretion as well as osmoregulation. Then we have seen the nervous system. Nervous system consists of paired ganglia connected by lateral nerves, which in turn are connected by double ventral nerve cord. Paired ganglia connected by lateral nerve cord, which in turn connected by a double ventral nerve cord. Hope it's clear? Right. Then about fertilization, that is reproduction is sexual. Sexes in some organisms, sexes are separate, called as dioecious. Example for dioecious organism is Nereis, and some annelids are monoecious. Example is earthworm and leech. Hope it's clear. So you have to remember the examples also. Scientific name of earthworm is Ferritima. Scientific name of leech is Hirudinaria, and then Nereis. Okay, so that is all about phylum Annelida. Okay, so hope you all understood what we discussed today. Thank you.